A teacher kicked Kai Musk out of class, but what Elon Musk did next left the entire school stunned. The classroom buzzed with the chatter of students, the faint scratching of pencils on paper, and the occasional cough. But for Kai Musk, the noise barely registered. He sat at his desk intently sketching the intricate design of a futuristic sustainable school powered by solar energy, a vision he had been working on for weeks. "Mr. Musk," a sharp voice cut through the hum. It was Ms. Henderson, the history teacher, standing at the front of the class with her arms crossed. "Would you care to share what's so important that it can't wait until after my lecture?" A teacher kicked Kai Musk out of class, but what Elon Musk did next left the entire school stunned. Kai froze, feeling dozens of eyes turned toward him. He clutched his notebook tighter, his cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, Ms. Henderson," he muttered. "I was just working on an idea I had." "An idea?" Ms. Henderson scoffed, walking toward him. "And is this idea going to help you pass your history exam next week?" The class snickered, and Kai shrank further into his seat. Ms. Henderson grabbed the notebook from his desk and held it up for everyone to see. "This isn't history, Kai. This is a distraction," she said, flipping through the pages filled with sketches of solar panels, wind turbines, and energy-efficient designs. The laughter grew louder, and Kai felt the familiar sting of humiliation. "These are just doodles," Ms. Henderson continued. "If you put half as much effort into your studies as you do into these, maybe you'd actually excel in something that matters." I was just trying to," Kai began, his voice faltering. "No excuses," Ms. Henderson snapped. "Get out of my class. If you can't focus on what's important, you don't belong here." The room fell silent, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Kai slowly stood, his notebook still clutched tightly in his hands. As he walked toward the door, he could feel the eyes of his classmates boring into him, some with pity, others with amusement. But what none of them, including Ms. Henderson, realized was that Kai's doodles were more than sketches. They were the foundation of a vision that would soon shock everyone. And little did Ms. Henderson know, her decision to kick Kai out of class would lead to a twist that no one could have predicted. Kai walked down the empty hallway, his head hung low and his heart heavy. The humiliation he'd just endured echoed in his mind, but alongside it was a growing ember of determination. His sketches weren't just meaningless doodles. They were his way of dreaming about a better future. And deep down, he knew they mattered. As he stepped outside into the fresh air, Kai sat on a bench near the school's entrance, flipping through his notebook. Each design felt like a piece of himself, a small window into the ideas he was too afraid to share openly. He sighed, staring at the intricate plans he'd spent weeks refining. Maybe Ms. Henderson is right, he thought. Maybe this doesn't matter. But then his phone buzzed. It was a notification from the school's email server. Curious, Kai opened it and froze. The email was from Elon Musk. The subject line read, "Let's prove them wrong." Kai's hands trembled as he clicked it open. The message was short, but powerful. "Kai, dreams that change the world often start as doodles others don't understand. Don't let anyone tell you your ideas don't matter. I want to see your designs. Let's meet this weekend. Elon." Kai's eyes widened as he reread the email, his earlier doubts melting away. Elon Musk, his uncle and one of the most brilliant minds of their time, wanted to see his work. The man who had built Tesla, SpaceX, and reshaped entire industries believed in him. The weight of Ms. Henderson's words began to lift, replaced by a spark of hope. At home that evening, Kai pored over his designs, tweaking them and adding new ideas. Every line he drew felt like a step toward proving his worth, not just to Ms. Henderson, but to himself. He stayed up late, imagining the possibilities fueled by Elon's words of encouragement. Have you ever felt like no one believed in your dreams? Don't let that stop you. Like this video if you faced challenges chasing your goals, and subscribe for more stories that inspire perseverance and hope. As the weekend approached, Kai couldn't shake the nervous excitement bubbling inside him. He packed his notebook carefully and headed to the meeting with Elon, unaware that this encounter would set off a chain of events that would leave his school, and especially Ms. Henderson, completely stunned. The sleek SpaceX facility stood tall and imposing, its metallic walls gleaming under the California sun. As Kai approached the entrance, his heart pounded in his chest. He clutched his notebook tightly, both excited and anxious about what Elon Musk would think of his ideas. A security guard greeted him with a nod. "You must be Kai Musk," the man said, opening the gate. "Mr. Musk is waiting for you." Kai stepped through the doors into a world that felt like it belonged in a science fiction movie. Engineers and scientists bustled about, monitors displayed complex data streams, and the hum of innovation filled the air. It was a far cry from the stifling classroom where his dreams had been dismissed as distractions. Moments later, Elon Musk appeared, dressed casually but exuding an aura of focus and determination. He walked up to Kai with a warm smile. "Kai," he said, shaking his hand firmly. "Glad you made it." "Thank you for inviting me," Kai said, his voice tinged with both awe and nerves. "I brought my designs, but I don't know if they're good enough." Elon gestured for Kai to follow him into a sleek conference room. "Let me be the judge of that," he said with a grin. "Show me what you've got." Kai opened his notebook, carefully laying it on the table. Elon leaned in, flipping through the pages with the intensity of someone who had built their career on daring ideas. Kai watched nervously as Elon studied each sketch. Solar panels integrated with classrooms, wind turbines powering sports fields, and designs for a self-sustaining campus. "These are incredible," Elon said finally, looking up at Kai. "You're thinking in systems, not just individual ideas. That's rare, and it's exactly how big solutions are built." Kai felt a wave of relief and pride wash over him. "You really think so?" he asked, barely able to believe the words coming from someone he admired so deeply. Elon nodded. "Absolutely, and I think it's time we do something with these." Kai's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Elon smiled, leaning back in his chair. "Your school is clearly missing the point if they can't see the value in this, so I'm going to make them see it. Let's build something that will leave no doubt about what you're capable of." Kai's mind raced, trying to comprehend what Elon was suggesting. "You mean, build these designs?" "Not just build them," Elon said. "Let's make your school the most advanced, sustainable campus in the country." The magnitude of Elon's words left Kai speechless. He had dreamed of this moment but never thought it could actually happen. And now it wasn't just a possibility, it was real. As Kai left the meeting that day, his head swirled with excitement and disbelief. Elon Musk wasn't just going to support his ideas, he was going to turn them into reality. But the road ahead would be full of surprises, and the first one would take place back at school, where Ms. Henderson and the rest of the staff had no idea what was coming. Monday morning at Lincoln High felt like any other day, until it wasn't. The bell rang, signaling the start of first period, and students filed into classrooms. Kai, notebook in hand, walked through the hallway with a quiet confidence he hadn't felt in months. He wasn't worried about Ms. Henderson's class anymore. In fact, he was looking forward to it. Monday morning at Lincoln High felt like any other day until it wasn't. The bell rang, signaling the start of first period, and students filed into classrooms. Kai, notebook in hand, walked through the hallway with a quiet confidence he hadn't felt in months. He wasn't worried about Ms. Henderson's class anymore. In fact, he was looking forward to it. As Kai entered the classroom, the usual chatter and laughter died down. The other students noticed something different about him, but no one could quite put their finger on it. Ms. Henderson glanced up from her desk, her expression hardening when she saw Kai. "Well," she said, her tone sharp. "Decided to actually join us today?" Kai didn't respond, simply taking his seat. Ms. Henderson smirked, clearly expecting him to cower under her gaze. But today, Kai wasn't backing down. The lesson began, and Kai listened quietly, his mind racing with thoughts of what was about to happen. About halfway through the class, an announcement crackled over the loudspeaker. "Attention staff and students," the principal's voice boomed. "We'd like to welcome a special guest to Lincoln High today. Please make your way to the auditorium immediately." The room filled with murmurs, students exchanging curious glances. Ms. Henderson frowned but directed the class to pack up their things and head to the auditorium. When everyone was seated, the principal stepped onto the stage looking uncharacteristically nervous. "Today," he began, "we're honored to have someone here who needs no introduction. Please welcome Elon Musk." The auditorium erupted into gasps and whispers as Elon Musk walked onto the stage, exuding the same calm authority he carried everywhere. Ms. Henderson, sitting in the front row, looked stunned, her earlier confidence visibly faltering. Elon took the microphone, scanning the room before he began. "Thank you for having me," he said. "I came here today because of one of your students, Kai Musk." The crowd turned to look at Kai, who sat frozen in his seat. Ms. Henderson's head snapped around, her eyes narrowing as realization dawned. "Kai reached out to me," Elon continued, "and shared some of the most innovative ideas I've seen in years. Ideas that could change the way schools operate, making them more sustainable and efficient." The room buzzed with whispers as Elon smiled. "But I didn't just come here to talk about ideas. I came here to turn them into reality." Elon gestured to the side of the stage, and a massive screen lit up, displaying Kai's designs in stunning detail. "Starting today," Elon announced, "Lincoln High will be the pilot school for these innovations. We're going to transform this campus into a model of sustainability, powered by the very ideas your student developed." The crowd erupted into applause, but Ms. Henderson sat frozen, her face pale. Elon turned toward her, his tone calm but pointed. "It's important to recognize potential when we see it," he said. "Dismissing it can mean missing out on something extraordinary." Kai glanced at Ms. Henderson, and for the first time, he didn't feel anger or resentment. Instead, he felt a quiet sense of triumph. This story proves how dreams can defy expectations. Like this video if you believe in the power of innovation, and subscribe for more stories about turning challenges into triumphs. The applause in the auditorium continued to ripple, a wave of excitement sweeping over the students. Elon Musk turned toward Kai, gesturing for him to join him on stage. Kai hesitated, his heart racing, before standing up and making his way through the rows of wide-eyed classmates. Whispers followed him. "Is this really happening? Wait, Kai designed all that? I can't believe Elon Musk is here. For him." Kai stepped onto the stage, clutching his notebook as the spotlight illuminated him. Elon placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder and spoke into the microphone. "This young man has shown incredible vision and determination, even when others doubted him. He reminds me of why I started, because changing the world starts with ideas and the courage to pursue them." The crowd erupted again, but Elon raised his hand to quiet them. "We're not just stopping at Lincoln High," he said. "This transformation will set an example for schools across the country, showing how innovation can reshape education." The students broke into cheers, their excitement palpable. Kai glanced at the crowd, his confidence growing with every moment. But as his eyes landed on Ms. Henderson, he noticed her sitting stiffly, her lips pressed into a thin line. She looked both embarrassed and shocked. Elon wasn't finished. He gestured toward the principal. "And to ensure this project's success, SpaceX will be investing in the resources needed to make these designs a reality. That means new infrastructure, cutting-edge technology, and scholarships for students pursuing STEM fields." Elon turned back to Kai, his voice softer now. "You've done the hard part, believing in yourself when others didn't. Now it's time to show them what you can do." Kai felt a swell of pride, but also responsibility. "Thank you," he said into the microphone, his voice steady despite his nerves. "Not just for believing in me, but for giving me the chance to prove that ideas matter, even if they start as just doodles." The crowd erupted into cheers once more, but Kai noticed a change in the energy. This wasn't just excitement, it was inspiration. His classmates, who had once dismissed him, now looked at him with admiration and curiosity. As the assembly concluded, students began filing out, buzzing with excitement over what they just witnessed. Kai stayed behind, catching Elon as he prepared to leave. "Thank you for everything," Kai said, his voice filled with sincerity. Elon smiled. "This is just the beginning, Kai," he said. "The rest is up to you." Little did Kai know, the changes Elon had announced were only the start of something far greater, a transformation that would ripple through the school and the community in ways no one could have imagined. The next few weeks at Lincoln High were nothing short of transformative. Construction crews began arriving, carrying equipment and materials that looked like they belonged in a sci-fi movie. Students watched in awe as solar panels were installed on the rooftops, wind turbines were erected near the sports fields, and the once drab school began to shimmer with futuristic technology. Kai walked through the bustling campus, his once dismissed notebook now a blueprint for change. Everywhere he went, students and teachers approached him, their tones no longer mocking, but curious and respectful. "Hey Kai, how do those panels work? Can you explain that design you showed Elon? It's so cool. Do you think we'll get to use the new lab you planned?" Kai answered each question with a smile, his confidence growing with every interaction. For the first time, he felt like he truly belonged, not because he had changed, but because people had finally started to see him for who he was. But not everyone was thrilled by the changes. Ms. Henderson remained distant, her demeanor growing colder each day. During one of her history classes, she couldn't help but address the elephant in the room. "Well, it seems Mr. Musk has managed to turn this school into his personal playground," she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "I hope you're all enjoying the spectacle." The students exchanged uneasy glances, but one of them raised their hand. "Ms. Henderson," the student said boldly, "isn't it a good thing that our school is getting these upgrades? And that it's all because of Kai's ideas?" Ms. Henderson hesitated, her face briefly betraying her discomfort before she regained her composure. "Let's just focus on the lesson," she muttered, moving on without addressing the comment. Kai sat in silence, a mix of frustration and determination bubbling inside him. He wasn't looking for Ms. Henderson's approval, but her continued dismissiveness stung. Still, he reminded himself of Elon's words. "The rest is up to you." One afternoon, as the construction neared its final stages, Elon Musk returned to the campus to check on the progress. He greeted Kai with a warm smile, his eyes lighting up as he surveyed the transformed school. "It's looking incredible," Elon said. "You've done something amazing here, Kai." "It wouldn't have happened without you," Kai replied. Elon shook his head. "It wouldn't have happened without your ideas. You inspired this." As they walked through the newly renovated campus, Elon paused and looked at Kai. "Let's do something special for the school," he said. "Something that will remind." The principal nodded vigorously, his face glowing with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Musk. This is beyond anything we could have imagined. Them every day what's possible when you dream big." Kai's curiosity piqued. "What do you have in mind?" Elon's smile widened. "You'll see. What would you do if someone gave you the chance to make your dreams a reality? Like this video if you believe in the power of ideas, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like Kai's." A week later, the entire school was gathered outside, the energy buzzing with anticipation. A massive stage had been set up in front of the newly transformed campus, complete with banners showcasing phrases like innovate, inspire, achieve. The students, teachers, and even members of the local community were in attendance, eager to witness the official unveiling of the renovations. Kai stood backstage with Elon Musk, his hands clasping his notebook tightly. He could feel the eyes of his peers on him, but for the first time it didn't make him nervous, it made him proud. "You ready?" Elon asked, a hint of excitement in his voice. Kai nodded. As ready as I'll ever be." Elon stepped onto the stage to roaring applause. The crowd quieted as he approached the microphone, his voice carrying over the eager audience. Today marks a milestone, not just for Lincoln High, but for every school that dreams of a brighter, more sustainable future. He gestured to the transformed campus behind him. This isn't just about technology. It's about believing in ideas, no matter how small they seem at first. And it all started with one student who refused to give up, even when others doubted him. The audience turned to Kai as Elon beckoned him forward. Kai walked onto the stage, the cheers growing louder with each step. Standing beside Elon, he took a deep breath and spoke into the microphone. "I never thought this would happen," Kai began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I used to think my ideas didn't matter, but someone believed in me and showed me that they do." He glanced at the students in the crowd, many of whom had once mocked him. "Your ideas matter too," Kai continued. "Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." The crowd erupted into applause, and for a moment, Kai allowed himself to take it all in, the cheers, the smiles, the validation he had worked so hard for. Elon stepped forward again, signaling for the crowd to settle. "Before we end today's celebration, there's one more thing we'd like to announce," he said, his tone teasing just enough to build curiosity. A large screen lit up behind them, displaying an image of a plaque. It read, "Lincoln High, a visionary campus dedicated to Kai Musk and future innovators everywhere." The crowd gasped, and Kai's eyes widened as Elon continued. "This plaque will hang at the entrance of the school as a permanent reminder that big changes start with small ideas and the courage to share them." The audience erupted into cheers once more, their energy infectious. Even some of the teachers who had doubted Kai joined in, their earlier skepticism melting into admiration. But what surprised Kai the most was seeing Ms. Henderson standing off to the side, her arms crossed tightly. For the first time, she wasn't looking at him with disdain. Instead, her expression seemed conflicted, almost as though she was beginning to understand the gravity of what had happened. As the applause died down, Elon leaned toward Kai and whispered, "This is just the beginning. What you do next is what really matters." Kai nodded, his heart swelling with pride and determination. He wasn't just a student with big ideas anymore. He was a symbol of what was possible when you refused to give up. If this story inspired you, hit like and subscribe for more tales of perseverance and transformation. Share this video to remind others that even the smallest idea can create a lasting impact. As the ceremony concluded and the crowd began to disperse, Kai remained on stage, taking in the scene. The school he had once dreaded walking into was now a beacon of innovation and hope. The plaque honoring his contribution had been installed at the entrance, and for the first time, Kai truly felt like he had found his place. Backstage, Elon Musk approached him, his usual calm demeanor mixed with a hint of pride. "You've done something remarkable, Kai," he said. "But remember, this is just the foundation. The real work starts now." Kai nodded, his mind already racing with ideas for the future. "I want to keep going," he said. "I want to help other schools, other students like me who feel like they don't belong." Elon smiled. "That's the spirit, and you'll have all the support you need to make it happen." As the day turned into evening, Kai walked through the transformed campus, students and teachers stopping him to share their admiration. Even Ms. Henderson, who had been so quick to dismiss him, approached with a hesitant smile. "Kai," she began, her tone softer than he had ever heard it. "I owe you an apology. I was wrong to underestimate you. What you've done here is extraordinary." Kai met her gaze, his voice calm and forgiving. "Thank you, Ms. Henderson," he said. "But it wasn't just me. It was everyone who believed in the idea." She nodded, visibly moved by his grace. "Well, you've certainly given all of us something to believe in." The following weeks brought even more changes. News of Lincoln High's transformation spread far and wide, inspiring schools across the country to rethink how education and sustainability could intersect. Kai was invited to speak at conferences, sharing his story and encouraging students to dream big, even in the face of doubt. But for Kai, the most meaningful moments came when students approached him, saying, "Because of you, I'm not giving up on my ideas." Each conversation reaffirmed his belief that innovation wasn't just about technology, it was about empowering others. Back at SpaceX, Elon Musk watched Kai's journey with quiet pride. One evening during a casual meeting, he turned to Kai and said, "You remind me of why I started. Keep this up, and you won't just follow in my footsteps, you'll make your own." Kai's smile widened. "That's the goal," he said. As Kai stood in front of his school one last time, gazing at the plaque and the bustling campus around him, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The boy who had once been kicked out of class had become a symbol of perseverance and possibility. He opened his notebook, jotting down a simple message that he knew would guide him in the years to come. Big changes start with small ideas and the courage to believe in them. Kai walked away, ready to take the next step in his journey, knowing that this was just the beginning. Kai's story is proof that no dream is too small and no obstacle too big. If his journey inspired you, like this video, subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who needs a reminder to keep believing in their ideas.